Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing quote-unquote ghost border runs. I'm kind of doing a series of these as these come to my attention or as I think of them. They're kind of little tidbits about sort of the history, if you will, of some aspects of like Thai immigration, or just maybe I should say being an expat in Thailand, certain aspects of what it was like in the past. And one thing that's a major change from times past is the quote-unquote ghost border run. And there was a time in Thailand, and this probably sounds really funny today. It's just almost from a different era, because it is, I guess. There was a time, this was back when basically there was what was called the quote-unquote infinite border run. And the infinite border run was basically, there was no rule regarding a limit on the number of 30-day stamps certain passport holders, most notably Western passport holders, generally speaking, folks from like the US, the Anglosphere, Western Europe, even Australia, New Zealand, passports like that, that they could just get a 30-day stamp at any border, anytime they came in, any border checkpoint. And there was really no limit. There was no legal limit, let's say. You could, and I had heard of people that had run into immigration officers that would see that someone had, just row after row after row in their passport of out-ins, and they'd live in Thailand for years doing that. Well, one convenience that kind of grew up, it became kind of a cottage industry, is this notion of a kind of a ghost border run. And basically what this practice was there was a time when, there was a lot of border running agencies. People would put people in a bus, put folks in a van maybe or something, drive a bunch of people to the border, get them stamped out, and then get them stamped back in. And apparently it kind of became this sort of underground activity where, if you threw somebody some money, they put that passport on the bus and they'd take it out to the border and that person wouldn't go, but that passport would get stamped out and in. And then, that person's now gotten themselves another 30 days of status without actually need to go to the border. Well, over time, the immigration authorities, the apparatus, the wheels of justice, sometimes turn slowly, but they do turn, and, that practice got known, and they started enforcing measures to counteract it. They didn't want that. They wanted folks, the immigration apparatus, wanted folks to come and go. They wanted people to actually check in at a border checkpoint, which I do understand the notion behind that. Also around that same time, they changed the policy on infinite border stamps. So that became not necessarily the most easy, it actually, when they first changed policy, it went to, you could only get 3 30-day stamps for every 6-month period. And then it became kind of this dance of, some people then have to go get a tourist visa for the other 3 months and then hop back into the 3, consecutive 30-day stamps. Then that kind of went away as they, and then we got up into the mid teens, 2000 teens, where they started really kind of cracking down on folks that were living in Thailand just entirely in tourism status, that they didn't really want that happening. They wanted folks in proper non-immigrant status. But long story short, the ghost border run was a thing. It existed for a fairly prolonged period of time. As I said, it was something of a cottage industry. Folks got in serious trouble over it when it finally was sort of uncovered and the immigration authorities started taking steps to counteract it. And it's kind of an example of, in my opinion, a kind of a normalcy bias. A lot of folks got really used to it. And then when it went away, it caused a lot of consternation to folks. So just the thing to take away from this video, I think, on this overall topic is just always strive to stay in proper status and do it the correct way.